Now, no one enjoys being perceived as a quote-unquote oath breaker. Someone who promised something and did something else. Someone who didn't follow through on something that they already committed to.
Sure.
And this is a concept in social psychology called consistency. Mm-hmm. And consistency says that if someone makes a pre-commitment, okay, no matter what that pre-commitment is, mm-hmm. they feel more compelled to actually follow through with it than just if asked to request.
Absolutely.
And we have a really great story from our university that happened a couple months ago. Do you want to tell that?
Well, sure. I felt like such a dummy afterwards, but it's okay. Because I already knew this principle and it still works.
It's a good example, though.
Okay, so like 6 months ago, it was a long time ago, we were in New York. We get a call from a very nice person, student from the university in my program who was asking for a donation in the future. Basically just saying, would you like to donate $50, $100, or $150 towards this thing that is happening? You don't have to do it now. It's just, would you be willing to do it in the future? And at that point, A, I was making a lot of money. B, it's like, you don't have to do it now. And you always think 6 months in the future, I'll have $150. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
So I said yes. So then I actually got the envelope. I mean, it looked like an invoice, even though after I talked to Josh, I was like, obviously it wasn't an invoice, but it looked like an invoice.
Yep.
Saying, here is your $150 commitment, blah, 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 blah. You know, you can put in your check. And at this point, I'm like, damn.
Not donation, commitment.
Right. Like, shoot, I'm not working right now. I don't have any money, but I can't call them and tell them I can't do this right now.
Right.
All these things are going through my head. And I don't remember what Josh was doing, but I couldn't call him. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to honor this thing that I made. I can totally handle $150. I'll make it back some other way. I'm just going to send it in. And then I talked to Josh and he was like, oh, they totally got you.
Yeah, because if they would have asked for the $150 donation over the phone at that moment, what would you have said?
You know, I'm sorry, not right now. I don't have the money.
Right. And nothing really, I mean, we were in the process of moving, so there was a lot going on. We were spending a lot of money, you know, all of these things. But just the fact that a pre-commitment was made, and it wasn't like, you know, there was going to be someone on the other end of the phone who was talking, you know, looking through all the list of names of people who had donated after saying that they actually donated and not. I mean,
But I imagined that.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, I did.
Social repercussions of saying, you know what, we're not in a position to donate right now. We'd much rather do it later or do it in a different way or whatever. There's really no person on the other end that would look at
or like that same girl was going to call me up and be like, hey.
Exactly. Didn't happen. But just by virtue of making a commitment, it very, you know, strongly influenced the decision to actually go through and make a donation. Same thing. There's actually a book on the list called Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. And I don't remember if this is in the book or something else he talks about, but he and his wife traveled to India and, you know, was seeing the sights, the Taj Mahal, whatever. And one of the tour guides, or somebody was offering free tours of the Taj Mahal.
Oh.
It's like, oh yeah, this is very nice. It follows this you know, guy around for a while and, you know, learn a lot of interesting things. It says, by the way, I have a rug shop just down the street. Would you like to come take a look? And, you know, this is a total reciprocation thing. And said, oh yeah, well, totally. You've been so nice. I would love to come see your shop. Okay. So they go see the shop. And of course, the reciprocation keeps going. It's like, would you like some tea? And then, you know, they go through and it's like, well, would you like to see a rug? It's like, no, it actually didn't even ask. I'm trying to remember the story right. The proprietor saw him glance at a rug. It's like, oh, that is a wonderful rug, and starts describing all about it. And they actually get these, you know, these guys who are working in the back. I mean, this is a big, heavy, you know, hand-woven rug. And they're like huffing and puffing, like getting this, you know, down off the rack and down on the floor and all spread out. And I was like, man, and, you know, still like trying to resist the urge to buy a rug. and then would just keep going over and over and over.
Geez.
And the more work...
Right. It's like hard work for these guys.
Yeah.
And you feel guilty.
That these guys were doing, it's like he was feeling very committed to, like...
Something.
Yeah, something like
something.
Yeah, I mean, and
Right.
it wasn't even like he had said, "Oh, I would be interested in buying a rug in the future." It's just like, "Oh yeah, I would be interested in seeing your shop."
Right.
And I think the end of the story is he walked out after purchasing 3 rugs.
Oh no!
And
I hope he likes them.
yeah, and part of it was the reciprocate. And he said they're beautiful rugs, but part of it was the commitment.
Yeah.
And being consistent in
Yeah.
that commitment. I mean, he could have walked out of the shop at any time.
Yeah.
But little commitments and little commitments and little commitments built up
Yeah.
into a compliance of a request, was, will you buy this rug?
Yeah, one of my very first sales managers who I ever had talked about this, and the way she explained it was try to start to get them saying yes as soon as you can. I mean, even if it's like little things, however you can phrase it so your customer is used to saying yes. I mean, and it's hard. You have to balance this between how you feel, like what's manipulative and what's not. But it is interesting to see what happens when someone's like, yes, 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 yes. It's hard to say no. Which also, as a salesperson, is why I think as a salesperson, you're always like, I just would rather them come back and tell me I picked something else than to never show up. But it is so hard for someone after they've been telling you yes, 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 to come back and tell you no. It's easier for them just to not show up again. So you can't take it personally. It's just, it's really hard as a customer,
right,
after you've built this trust and been like, yes, 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 to come back and say no. So don't take it personally. It's just human nature.
Right. So, the moral of the story is we don't like to be seen as oath breakers. We don't like to break promises. Yeah. So, understand that if you are being sold to, the more commitments or promises, even for things in the future that they can get you to make, the more likely it is that you're going to comply with their request. And, vice versa as well. If you're selling to someone, having them make small commitments or small promises makes them far more likely to say yes when you actually make them the offer.
Like, for example, do you feel like you would like to walk out of here with a decision made today?
Right.
Yeah, it sets them up to have made a decision by the end.
Exactly.
So that's an example of a small commitment.
All right. And that is commitment.